What's up, fanboys? This is episode 3 of the Fanboys Anonymous group meeting, roundtable discussion, podcast, etc., etc. We have 1,000 names for this, but we're never going to trim it down because why not, right? You love all the names, don't you? This is your host, Anthony Mango, owner of Fanboys Anonymous, and with me on this evening's panel, we have Chris the Dace Man Dace.
Hey, guys.
And we have Shaun Walker.
Never again.
What Shaun is referring to is the topic of this evening's podcast, the 2014 Oscars, or otherwise known as the 86th Academy Awards ceremony. We figured we would do a rundown of this every year with Fanboys Anonymous, and just to give you a little insight, before we had our channel taken down for Google being annoying, last year we did this, and we weren't so thrilled about the choice of nominees, and most people that were on the Fanboys Anonymous team didn't bother watching many of the movies. We talked for about an hour and a half about how we didn't see much of the movies, we didn't care about a lot of the movies that were nominated, and that we were just thoroughly disappointed. This year, almost everybody saw none of the movies. Which is a real shame, because this should be something that we're super into, and that if anybody's going to be into an Oscars type of thing, you would think that it would be fanboys, but that's the case. And partially, I would assume it's kind of the same as what it was last year, where a lot of us have seen a lot of superhero movies and different things like that, and not the artsy movies and the independent movies and all that other kind of stuff. But man, I gotta say, this was a flop year for movies in general, and when it came around to listing the nominees and they started saying, what movies were going to be nominated and then what were, narrowed down to like the last couple of choices before they picked the nominees and all that other kind of stuff, I hadn't known what like any of them were, and I couldn't even figure out alternatives, because I spent most of this year watching movies like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 and stuff, because none of these other movies seemed that interesting to me. But nonetheless, what I do every year is I check out as many as I possibly can when they've been nominated. I haven't gotten around to watching all of them yet. Dace, did you see any of the movies that were nominated, or did you opt out for them?
Out of all the movies that were nominated for stuff this year, I saw the worst movie, and that was movie 43. Other than that, I have not seen shit that was nominated for the Oscars.
That won like 3 Razzies or something?
Oh, yeah, including Worst Picture. So I've seen the worst picture of 2013, but
not
none
the
of
best
these.
picture.
No, none of them.
Now, how many of these have you seen, Shaun?
Just the one, sadly. I want to start my eyes out, and that was Gravity. Sandra Bullock just panting for an hour and 45 minutes,
See, that's really
that might be ideal.
Just for like 2 hours long. And she gets nominated for Best Actress, too. Oh, man.
It would be better if there was nudity involved. That's all I'm saying.
That's a whole different Gravity kind of joke. That would be if they added, what was the name of the woman who was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Nebraska? June Squibb. That would be a different type of Gravity. So what we're going to do here for this podcast is we're going to tell you, obviously, who the nominees were and who ended up winning the categories, and we're going to try to break down what our thoughts are for them, but I guarantee you a lot of these are going to go by really fast. It's just we had no idea anything about this kind of stuff, so pass and all that other kind of stuff. But nonetheless, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the show itself, touch upon montages and in memoriam, music choices, all of that other kind of stuff, and Ellen DeGeneres as the host, which let's knock that out of the way real fast. I would say at the beginning of this, when she did her monologue, okay, but not great. And man, that kept sinking lower and lower and lower throughout the show. By the time this was over with, God, she was awful. And I don't know if it was her writing all of her jokes or she had a team or something like that, but you know what? I shouldn't even say her writing all of her jokes, because she only really had 2 of them. She had the pizza thing, which went on for like 45 minutes worth of this show.
Something like that.
That was, oh my God. The first one, okay, maybe you can throw a reference out there of like, hey, everybody want pizza? All right, ha ha ha, that's not really that funny. But she dragged on with it, and then it was on, it popped up again, and then it popped up again. And granted, one of the pieces of the pizza, I think it was Harrison Ford, might have grabbed it or something like that. I was like, that looks kind of good, but that's not what the goal is here. The goal is supposed to be funny and entertaining. Oh man, her tweet picture thing, okay, why not try it? But she was botching names. She referred to Kristen Bell as Kristen BL. She had no idea how to say Christoph Waltz. It was like Christoph, yeah, Christoph Waltz. Like, she had a couple of decent jokes about like Jennifer Lawrence tripping and stuff like that, but man, I was not impressed. What did you think, Dace?
I've been forever ruined with hosts because after Seth MacFarlane, nothing will ever top him. So I don't like her at all. She just wasn't funny, and like I feel like she kind of was being nice. I want somebody to rip those actors, especially since they're taking up 4 hours of my night.
You wanted another Ricky Gervais?
Yeah, I want like those mean hosts. Like they just come out and start making fun of people.
Now, Shaun, you and I were talking a little bit earlier when this had started, and you mentioned Ricky Gervais. Same kind of thought. Ricky Gervais should have came back, or somebody else instead of Ellen.
Anybody but this fucking tall, lanky lesbian, I'm telling you. Fucking hell. I don't know if it's my British sense of humor or what, but Jesus fucking Christ, if that's what's American humor these days, Jesus, I feel sorry for you guys.
It's not. It's got to be Canadian or something like that. That is definitely not American humor.
For some reason, she's really popular. It's not my thing.
With moms.
How has she got her own show?
How do so many people in this country have their own show? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Steve Harvey has one, so.
Some of the other things that went on throughout the show, I really liked their choices for music. They were playing the Oblivion soundtrack at one point, and I was just like, oh man, I really love the Oblivion soundtrack. That was so cool. And then they transitioned into Thor, and I was like, you're making this even better. And there was like a real mark out moment when they started playing the Avengers theme and all that other kind of stuff. That's always something I'm really interested in, because you take like some of the best movie themes of all time, you throw it in a big show together. I love it. Harrison Ford comes out, you got to have him come out with the Indiana Jones theme and stuff like that. One thing I thought was kind of funny though was I don't remember who who was accepting the award or what the award was or whatever, but there was one instance where they were running the Forrest Gump theme, and somebody was like trying to cram in a little bit extra, and when they started playing it again, it just seemed kind of awkward because it was like I wanted somebody to start yelling like "Run off the stage, Forrest, run" or something like that. Any thoughts on the music choices, guys?
I enjoyed some of them. Like, I don't know why, but I kind of marked out when the Titanic song came on. Maybe it's the softy inside of me, but they're playing. I was like, I know that song, and I'm like, I shouldn't exclaim that.
One tear falls down.
Yeah, it's like, oh, why did she throw that expensive piece of jewelry in?
Shaun, any thoughts?
I honestly couldn't tell any of the music apart from the Indiana Jones part. They all sounded the same.
Just string quartets and stuff.
Yep, all generic.
Montages are another thing that I'm a big fan of for this. The superhero one I thought was pretty cool. The In Memoriam one felt a little long, but maybe that's just because a lot of people died this year, which is a shame. Although one thing that I really did not like, tying into music choices and montages and stuff like that, did they really need the whole "Wind Beneath My Wings" thing after the Memoriam? That was completely unnecessary and very awkward, I think.
And it was terrible. Like, she sings that song all the time, and this one, it just felt like the performance was weird. It just was awful.
She almost tried to go into like a dubstep thing or something like that, though. Did you hear that? Where she was like, you. She's like, remix.
Yeah. Out comes 50 Cent in the club. There's pocket full of bub. I don't know how it goes.
Farrell should have come back out with a hat, giving it to her. But I love the superhero one. I thought that was cool. They were missing, a really cool intro one. They usually do that where they have like a big rundown. I've been saying for the longest time, there's somebody on YouTube who does filmography kind of montage things, and she does a fucking amazing job. Jen IP is her name, Gen then IP, and man, I've been saying for years now that she's been doing it since 2010. I think it was her first one. They gotta hire her to do that because she just really knows what she's doing. Weird camera angles tonight too. A lot of I don't know if you guys had mentioned it, but a lot of times they kind of panned away from where they were supposed to be paying attention to, and sort of just like there was a picture of like just lights, or instead of the framing having like the person in the center of the shot, they were in like the bottom left hand corner or something like that. I don't know what was up with the cameraman tonight, but maybe they were just bored.
They did some weird close up on Penelope Cruz, was just awkward. Like
I didn't see that one.
it was like right up in her face, and like you could see all her pores. It was weird.
I had to Penelope Cruz just saying.
Some guy was just like, I wonder how like much I can zoom in on this camera.
She's got something in her nose. Let's see what's up there. It'd be awesome.
All right, well, as far as the winners go, I'm going to bounce around here. The first thing of the night was Best Supporting Actor. Jared Leto won for Dallas Buyers Club. One of the movies that I actually did see, and I watched that last night out of all things. And midway through the movie, I was like, all right, if he keeps this up, he's winning. He has to win this because it was just one of those roles that it typically goes to. He's playing not only a homosexual, but he's playing an AIDS victim, and it's in a historical kind of a movie, and oh man, it spans the gamut of all the other Oscar kind of stuff. To keep this simple, if there's an award that we haven't really touched anything upon, like the documentary shorts and all that other kind of stuff, we're not even going to bother with that whatsoever. Just talk about the ones that people care about, I guess you could say. Which is kind of a shame because these other people, like the short film people, are like, I care about this shit. Like,
yeah, the ones that
Mr.
make you stay up till
Hublot.
midnight.
Mr. But yeah, supporting actor. I know you guys had mentioned that you guys hadn't seen it, but any thoughts about the supporting actor thing?
I think Magneto should have won.
For his scene where Magneto goes back in time again and Days of Future Past and becomes a slave owner.
Yeah, Magneto owning slaves. It's like an oxymoron. It's perfect. That's
Shaun,
all I got.
Shaun, any ideas about the best supporting actor?
The dude needed a haircut, man. Just again, an Oscar. The best thing you could do is just put in a ponytail or something.
That apparently was like this big topic of discussion on, I think it was Access Hollywood or something I was watching the other night. They did a whole like 2 minutes about what should he do with his hair, and the person's like, you should cut it, and the other one's like, no, God, no, and it's like he's not banging you. Like, what's the difference? Like, best costume design. It's one of the few that I had gotten wrong. I thought that this was going to go to American Hustle because that's another period piece kind of a thing, but it went to The Great Gatsby. That's also another thing that I had got wrong with best production design because I had that down as Great Gatsby for a while and changed that to American Hustle. So damn it to them for making me have a couple things wrong here. Makeup and hairstyling, that went to Dallas Buyers Club. Makes perfect sense because of the whole thing with Jared Leto and the horrible weight loss and all that other kind of stuff that Matthew McConaughey had done. Animated short film. That's the main topic you wanted to talk about, Mr. Hublot. Right, Shaun?
Mr. Hublot for the win.
I did like seeing whoever his name was. Sorry, I don't know his name. The man who accepted the award, his hand was really shaking a lot when he was holding his little piece of paper. That's something I like to see because it shows that, I mean, these people, we make fun of like the animated short films and all that other kind of stuff as like the awards that don't really matter. But you can kind of tell that they agree with that too because they kind of cram them all into like one shot in the middle of it. But it's nice to see when people are like that where they're all nervous and stuff because it shows that they really, really care. It's one of the most important parts of their entire life and all that. And I personally really like it when you see the people like break down and cry and all that. I don't know. Maybe it's just softy in me. Maybe it's because I know I would do the exact same thing. I would look like a complete idiot up there. But that's always something kind of interesting. Animated feature, that went to Frozen, which I still haven't seen, but I've heard good things about it. You guys heard good things about that too, right?
Really?
Really?
My sister loves it.
Yeah. Most people tell me good things are Girls and Vic.
I had no interest in seeing any of the movies that were nominated. The Croods didn't look that decent to me. Despicable Me 2, I never even wanted to see the first one. No idea what Ernest and Celestine is or The Wind Rises. I hadn't heard of those until I literally wrote out the nominations list. But hey, maybe I'll give Frozen a shot. I don't know. Might be something to check out down the line.
I stopped watching those kind of movies back with, like, before Up. No, before Wall-E. I haven't watched any of those.
Did you see Up?
Nope, I haven't seen that or Wall-E.
Oh, I liked Wall-E.
Nah.
Up was
I stopped at Toy Story 3 when they made me cry. It's like, animated films shouldn't make me cry. I'm done.
Best visual effects, easy one. That goes to Gravity, Shaun's favorite film of all time.
Down straight.
That was a self-explanatory kind of thing. That, what were the chances that something like Iron Man 3 was going to win that or whatever? I'm a little bit curious though that some other movies were nominated instead. The Lone Ranger gets a nomination. Why?
Fuck that.
I thought Star Trek Into Darkness really should have been given the award over. Well, I shouldn't say that. Gravity did do a really good job with that. If anything was impressive, it was the visual effects and the cinematography. But
it sure wasn't the acting.
Hold on, Iron Man 3 was in that? I saw a movie! Wow!
Best cinematography, that also went to Gravity, which kind of goes hand in hand. Doesn't always, but a lot of the times it does. When you get the one, you get the other one. Short film, that went to, let me find that list here. It's all the way down below at the very bottom of mine. Helium, which I know nothing about. You guys don't know nothing about it either, right?
I can't read half these titles.
Yeah, I don't even want to pronounce some of these. I'm so glad that none of them won that I can't pronounce. The Great Beauty wins the best foreign language film. I can pronounce all those though. Omar, Broken Circle, Breakdown, etc. Best documentary short goes to The Lady in Number 6. My music saved my life.
They shouldn't have won. That's too long of a title.
People were kicking off in the UK about that.
Although it's slightly beaten out by Prison Terminal, The Last Days of Private Jack Hall.
I wouldn't even have nominated that because there's too many words in it.
They're like, it goes to Cave Digger because fuck, it's the shortest. We're running really late on this show.
Yeah.
20 Feet from Stardom wins Best Documentary. Let's see what else we have here. Sound mixing goes to Gravity, as does Best Sound Editing. Again, two things that kind of go hand in hand.
Hold on. It's space. How the fuck is there sound?
That's something that I thought was really funny too, because when I had seen Gravity, I was like, all right, this is going to win the best sound categories. Guaranteed. It has to. Because there's like damn near no sound in it. And that's got to be something where it's so ludicrous that it has to happen. Like, the idea of best sound editing and best sound mixing when there is mostly silence is just so ridiculous. Because it's like, all right, you hire a sound editor and you're like, hey, Phil, or whoever, I don't know who was in charge of it for this. Phil, can you edit the scene? The guy's like, all right, he hits a mute button. He's like, yeah, all right, I'm going to go off on a coffee break.
Yeah, it's like, come on, he probably did 10 minutes worth of work. And it's for the music at the credits. The frig.
Now, I'm sure that there's, a lot more intricate stuff than we're privy to when it comes to that. But at the same time, that's what it feels like. And the best sound mixing is like, how do you mix mute with mute?
If we ever win, like, if we ever get into the Academy for whatever reason, we have to go back and destroy these videos. 'Cause nobody from the sound department's going to work with us.
They're going to be like, hey, I just muted your entire film and got rid of all the sound. You have to start from ground zero. Take that for your fucking criticism.
Yeah, well, fuck you. We'll do subtitles and win Best Picture of the Year. Suck it.
Yeah, we'll just call it an artistic choice. It's going to happen now.
Uh-huh.
Best film editing, I believe that went to Gravity as well, which is kind of interesting because there's a lot of tracking shots that didn't have any editing in it, but I guess that's one of the reasons why.
We awarded it to the lack of work. Bastards.
But when you were watching this, Sean, did you think any of that kind of stuff had hit the mark? Anything was interesting, like besides maybe the visual effects? But did
I
anything pop
felt
in your
like
mind
I
about
was on a
the
roller coaster about to throw up.
that one shot at the very beginning with
Yep.
her spinning around in a circle or up and down
Yep.
with her great dialogue of I can't.
Give
So
that man an Oscar.
they won for like making it interactive with the audience for them throwing up. Is that what happened?
That'd be great if like they just changed that into like one of those Disney rides where like you're sitting in the big auditorium thing, like Tower of Terror or whatever, and it moves with you. Just
And
keeps like spinning.
And Sandra Bullock just panting desperately in the background, making you nauseated as you're going down just because of her panting.
Best original score and best song were heavily well, not the best original score, that wasn't really heavily featured, but the best song, of course, they did their usual renditions of that throughout the show. I was surprised. I thought Happy from Despicable Me 2 was going to win, but it went to Let It Go from Frozen, which I did not think was really that good of a song.
That's because they're beating off that film.
It should have gone to the blonde duet.
Oh,
beginning of the show.
the Moon song from Her, I think it was. No, it was I know. I think that must have been it.
That chick couldn't sing. You'd better sing in a Chinese karaoke bar.
That's for the sequel.
I go there, so that he's talking about me.
Best original score went to Gravity, which was definitely the film that won the most amount of awards tonight. Stephen
For the
Price.
least amount of work.
That's another category where it's got the least amount of score. There might have only been like 5 songs that could be on the soundtrack or something from this.
And panting. That's like 6 tracks of just Sandra Bullock panting. And George Clooney saying, it's going to be all right.
George Clooney being George Clooney. I like the I don't remember if it was Screen Junkie's honest trailer or if it was Cinema Sins. I'm pretty sure it was the honest trailer. Where they were like, the stars George Clooney playing George Clooney. Because it's really himself in the whole thing. Just a charming astronaut guy. Hey, you're attracted to me, huh? Like,
Oh, God, why are the Academy? Get your head out of your ass.
best original and adapted screenplay. Adapted went to 12 Years a Slave, and original went to Her, which I thought was a little surprising. I thought that was going to go to American Hustle. I don't think American Hustle won a single thing throughout the whole night.
Judging by Christian Bale's face, they didn't.
Yeah, Christian Bale looked pissed. He had that look on his face of just the golf clap of like, yeah, I see how this goes. All right, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think
I'm cool with it. No, it's fine. It's fine.
His stare was trying to give Matthew McConaughey AIDS when he had won that award.
He's gonna go Batman on him.
Where's my award?
Either that, or he's gonna flip out like with the lighting guy in Terminator Salvation.
Fucking great.
He's like, I do a historical piece. It's nominated for Best Actor and Best Picture, a whole bunch of other things. What the fuck?
I gained weight. I stopped being Batman. Come on.
Do. Best Director goes to Alfonso Cuarón, which I was annoyed with because I had him down for like 2 months that he was going to win this. And 2 days ago, I go, you know what? It's going to Steve McQueen or David O. Russell. It's not going to go to Cuarón. No. And motherfucker, I was wrong.
You planned 2 months for this?
As soon as the nominees were out, I started giving my predictions. I jump on that every year. One thing I thought was funny with that, I've been talking to a couple people, and they all kind of agree. This should have gone to David O. Russell just because it's hilarious to hear people say David O. Russell, American Hustle. Everybody that does that, they do this kind of like sing-songy thing. It's like Steve McQueen, 12 Years a Slave. Alexander Payne, Nebraska. Martin Scorsese, Wolf of Wall Street. David O. Russell, American Hustle. Like, they all do that. It's
Wait,
so
isn't
great.
he the director that also would like get in the car with them and lay in the back seat? I remember an interview I think he did with Jon Stewart. He's like, "Yeah, I like to get up in the actor's face." Like that's got to be the most awkward fucking thing in the world.
Especially since a lot of American Hustle was just improvised. And apparently the role that Jeremy Renner played in it, there was a whole big mix-up with like the actors. Like I think it was Christian Bale had been cast in his role, and he couldn't do it anymore. So Bradley Cooper ended up being in that role. And Jeremy Renner ended up playing Bradley Cooper's role. But then it all got fixed, and then they were like, "Oh crap, we're going back to what we had before, but we don't have a spot for Jeremy Renner, so let's make a part for him and change the script around." And then just make shit up and like. So maybe that's why he didn't win, because he was just kind of like, "You do all the work." You know,
Yeah.
what are we on, Gravity? Like. One thing I forgot to mention: Lupita Nyong'o won for Best Supporting Actress. Everybody called that ahead of time. That was a pretty simple thing. No real surprises there.
I feel sorry for the person that had to announce her.
It's not too bad. Lupita Nyong'o. Now I'm fucking it up twice in a row.
If I were to look at that on a piece of paper, I'd be like, "Fuck! It's the one that's not Jen or Julia. It's the non-normal name."
Just go. All right, Best Supporting Actress. 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a lot of buzz going around her, so that was like, if anything was a guarantee this year, it was going to end up being that. And I still haven't seen 12 Years a Slave, so that's one that I'm going to have to download later on, or to buy, is what I meant. I was a little bit disappointed that a lot of these best actor, actress, etc. kind of things, they seemed like there were a lot of like safe bets. Now, maybe it's something different. Maybe I'm just overlooking stuff, but Julia Roberts, Jennifer Lawrence, these people pop up all the time. Amy Adams and Meryl Streep, like almost every year, it's the same kind of people and stuff. So whenever they do the one random person that sticks out, that ends up being like the person that they really cared about, and then the rest are just sort of like, well, let's just give this to this person and just give it to that person. Like for Best Director, it was like, of course, Martin Scorsese's going to end up getting nominated for that, because he's Martin Scorsese. Like, he gets nominated every year. He only wins like once or twice. What was the other ones that were left? We had actor, actress, and Best Picture. Best Actress went to Cate Blanchett, another thing that people had talked about ahead of time. And unfortunately for Gravity, Sandra Bullock's panting did not win her the Oscar.
Because the panting was fake. We didn't believe it.
And at that point, Sean Walker was just like, "Oh, son of a bitch, that's it. I don't trust these people if they didn't go with Sandra Bullock."
Pretty much. That woman's speech was long-winded, though.
Cate Blanchett?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of went on far too long. You know who else had a really, really long one, too? Jared Leto, at the very beginning. His was really long, about all these inspirational things and all this other kind of stuff. It's okay every once in a while, but I don't know. I think a lot of people bring too much politics into it. It's kind of like, okay, good job acting in this movie. Why do you need to talk about like unrelated things that are bothering you and stuff? But then again, I'm the same type of person who's like, why are you thanking your kids? They didn't help you. Like, I'm kind of cynical when it comes to that kind of stuff. A lot of weird speeches tonight. What was the one with the woman that was singing? I don't remember what that was. It was one of the ones like documentary short or something like that. But that was very awkward. It was just kind of like, and we want to thank this great singer next to me, and she came up and sang some song I'd never heard of before, and they should have just started immediately playing the music to get her off. And we had Mark Henry present an award according to Shaun. I don't know who that actress is, but I apologize. But Anna Kendrick, though, looking good. Definitely a celebrity crush of mine. Best actor goes to not Christian Bale, despite how upset that he was. It goes to Matthew McConaughey, who I thought really did a damn good job in Dallas Buyers Club. So I was actually really surprised that went through, because I thought it was going to go to Chiwetel Ejiofor. And if it would have gone to Bale or McConaughey as it did, or DiCaprio, I would have been fine with any of those. I didn't see Nebraska, and from what I've seen of it, I doubt that I would have thought that Bruce Dern deserved it. And kind of the same goes for Chiwetel with 12 Years a Slave. Everything that I have seen of it, it just seemed like I don't want to play the politics about it, but it seemed like he was getting a nominee because of the fact that it was that kind of a movie. I don't know if a lot of people would agree about that or not. I got to see the movie too because he might have done a damn good job. But Matthew McConaughey definitely stood out, I think. You guys, any thoughts about the Best Actor stuff?
AIDS won. Woo! I don't know. I didn't see any of the movies, and I honestly, I've heard great things about American Hustle, so I probably would have went with Bale, even though when we were talking during the selection, I was kind of hoping Bale would lose, only for the fact that he'd go back and play Batman now.
I'm down with Batfleck.
But Bale Fleck.
Bale Fleck?
Bale Fleck. Or Bat Bale, or whatever you want to call him. Come on.
I really want to see a hybrid now. Bale Fleck. Bale Fleck as Batman.
It'll be awesome. It'll be like Clerks meets American Psycho.
What the hell? I'd pay to watch that movie. There's no denying it. I totally would. Shaun, any thoughts about Best Actor?
Not really.
The excitement that we have for this year's Oscars is palpable, isn't it? Last award of the night, Best Picture, the one that everybody cares the most about. The nominees, if you didn't know ahead of time, 12 Years a Slave, American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, Dallas Buyers Club, and The Wolf of Wall Street. Out of the ones that I had seen, which were American Hustle, Gravity, Dallas Buyers Club, and Wolf of Wall Street, I personally liked Wolf of Wall Street the very best. American Hustle I thought was a decent enough movie to get nominated, and same goes for Dallas Buyers Club. I totally could see why that was nominated. Gravity, I really don't think it should have been. That seemed like it was a very good example of filmmaking, but not a really good movie, because it was basically just a tension film, and tension films they're not Best Picture material in my mind. I don't think I've ever seen a single tension movie that's ever been captivating, because hell, if you know that a movie is supposed to be an hour and a half long and you've got 40 minutes left and there's one character in it, you know that Sandra Bullock is not going to die. They're not going to spend 40 straight minutes with no characters and just have you watch, space debris float around.
Hey, I Am Legend. We followed Will Smith for that long, and then they killed him. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Should have said that first.
I think if you haven't seen I Am Legend by now, then you deserve to be spoiled. That's like, wait a minute. Bruce Willis was dead all this time?
Ah, shit. I haven't seen that. I don't know what you're talking about, though.
So was Chang on Community. So, Best Picture goes to 12 Years a Slave, the main movie that people were talking about the most, which is no surprise once again. So, I guess I'm going to have to watch it because I've kind of made it a point to see every Best Picture for the last couple of years. But I got to say, man, this is another year where I think 99 out of 100 of these movies are not going to be remembered by next year.
Who won last year?
Last year, I know I remember I wanted it to be Les Mis because I actually liked that the best at the time. But you know what? Off the top of my head, I really can't remember.
Googling. No. Oh, there we go. Google. Because the 86th is all the way at the top. Oh, stupid. Best Picture went to Argo.
Argo,
Batfleck.
That's right. Yeah, which I thought was massively overrated.
Go Batfleck. I own it. Haven't seen it.
What was that, Shaun?
Never even heard of it. Argo.
I thought that was another one of those movies that people overhyped and everything. By the time I got done watching it, I was just like, well, this is nominated? Like, yeah.
I can't believe I forgot that, because there was that whole thing that Batfleck didn't get nominated for Best Director, but then won Best Picture.
Right. So maybe that was like an on-purpose kind of snub because they knew that they were going to give it to that or something.
Yeah.
But man, there's been this trend of that where it's just like, you know, all these movies are nominated. They kind of come out of the blue, and people don't talk about them. I mean, there's movies from the 1990s that were nominated and didn't win Best Picture that people put in their top 10 films of all time. And then you look at a movie like The King's Speech, which won 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or something like that. Does anybody ever bring that up when they talk about the best movies of all time? Does anybody ever bring up Chicago, for fuck's sake? Or, uh, yeah, there's so many of these movies. It's a real shame because it's like, if you look at something like 1994, 94 had like 10 of the best films of all time or whatever. And so many of them obviously could not win because you can only have one winner each year. But we had Forrest Gump win. And if I'm remembering correctly, I might be a little bit wrong on this. 94 was the same year that we had Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
The Lion King. Just like these fucking movies didn't win Best Picture because Forrest Gump ended up having to win. And then it's like these years we get,
Mr. Hublot.
Mr. Hublot. And then that, goes on the list of like, these are, the 86 supposed best films of these 86 years and all that. It's a real shame, but I don't know. Maybe watching 12 Years a Slave, I'll think that it's, an amazing picture, but until that happens, I cannot say that it's the best for the year. But really, as I had mentioned before, really low point of movies for this year. I can't think of anything that I would put in that spot instead. So I guess it makes sense. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to give it to White House Down. I thought it was an interesting movie, but that's not a Best Picture material.
They should give all the awards to Thor.
Just to Thor. Just Best Actor is
Thor.
What's the name of that kid that was in the movie that was like hanging around Kat Dennings for the whole thing?
Ah, shit. Yeah, her, I guess, boyfriend or whoever,
Right.
intern. Yeah.
Best visual effects for naked Skarsgård.
Yeah. We have to think of this, though. Next year, when we're watching this and we pretend like we're going to watch all the films again, Matthew McConaughey will be introducing the Best Actor.
Best Actress. They do the opposite.
Oh, still, he's going to be on stage. Ed TV.
Taking the place of Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah. Or hell, Leonardo DiCaprio or Christian Bale. They could have came out, introduced the Best Actress. Matthew McConaughey, unless he goes through a massive weight change again and dies, will be bringing us Ed TV in 2015.
Hey, at least he kind of deserved it. It was a good year for him with that.
Only took AIDS.
That's like the byline to it. It's like Matthew McConaughey wins. It only took AIDS. That's like the best way that you can describe it. Oh man. So I mean, that is a real quick rundown of what we thought about the Oscars. Obviously, this was not, as big of a thing as we should have had it be from our perspective as fanboys. This should be something that we are super, super into. We watched all the movies. We have big fanboys party, like, all that kind of stuff. But that's just not going to happen when you get a lot of movies out of the blue that just don't seem really that interesting to a lot of the mainstream audience and stuff.
If they make a superhero category, then I'll start caring about your other crap.
Hopefully, by the time we go to the 2015 Oscars and the 87th Academy Awards, that'll be a different story. If this is a third time's a charm kind of a thing, maybe we can hope for that. But if not, then next year you're going to hear a lot of the same points of view where people aren't going to be watching many of the movies, and we're going to just be running down what happened on the show as like, whoop, didn't care, didn't see it, and all that other kind of stuff. It's a shame, but what the hell? Do what you got to do.
It's complete discrimination against mutants and superhumans.
Well, it definitely shouldn't have won Best Picture to Man of Steel. That's for sure.
But like, come on. You gave it to the black guy, couldn't give it to a superhuman or a Asgardian?
They just throw them in with the music throughout the night as like consolation prizes.
Oh, this will keep those fanboys' attention.
So like we'll have Thor present an award, and why not? Unless you guys have last words, then that should round it out. Dace, anything else you want to say?
I'm gonna go watch Jimmy Kimmel.
Shaun, Shaun, anything else that you want to chime in on?
Yeah, don't expect me to be here for the next Oscars.
Even if Ellen DeGeneres hosts it?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so one last thing we got to do, just round out this whole podcast with some plugs. Dace, up to you.
Follow me on Twitter at the Dace Man. Check out my podcast, The Dace Man Show, every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Mega Powers Radio. This week will be hosted by Frank Ward, because yours truly is going to go do adult work, which sucks. Check out my articles on fanboysanonymous.com. And as always, just check out what I'm doing there.
Shaun, you're up.
Yeah, just check my shit out on Fanboys, and yeah, follow me on Twitter, ShaunC2K37. That's me done. I'm gonna go to bed.
Alrighty, guys. Obviously, check out what's going on with fanboysanonymous.com and youtube.com/fanboysanon. Later on in this month, we're going to be doing another group meeting. I'm not too sure what the premise is going to be for that one, but that's going to be the much more exciting, the actual roundtable discussion kind of a thing. We wanted to make this a quick, easy one just to put our opinions out there about what happened for the Oscars, but we're going to do something more entertaining, maybe something like trying to pick favorite stuff of ours. Maybe we're going to try to do something really quirky and interesting and odd. I don't really know yet. If you have any suggestions of what you would like to see, send them in on the comments below. Make sure that you can also check out Fanboys Anonymous stuff on iTunes and Stitcher. Follow the Facebook and Twitter accounts, which are different. Twitter is Fanboy Anonymous because they have one extra character that they wouldn't let us have. Facebook is Fanboys Anonymous. We also have Instagram and Tumblr and everything else like that. For all the other A Mango Tree related stuff, A Mango Tree is just found everywhere, all over these kind of pages, so you can't miss it by looking at Tony Mango kind of related pages. That'll do us in for group meeting number 3. I'm Tony Mango for Chris Dace and for Shaun Walker and for all the fanboys and fangirls that couldn't be here tonight. We wish you a happy, hopefully better Oscar season coming up after this one. And have a good evening, everybody. This group meeting is adjourned.